Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, as you see, I already slept. So, we finished with the month of the beautiful dream of Pisces, and we begin with the spark of Aries with much more energy and impulse. First, let's begin with the idea, as always, of the introduction of what is the month of Aries and why it begins today and not 1 week ago or two, I don't know, when it was supposed to start astrologically. So for all those who are new in these meetings, I would like to remind you that we are not following the month according to the Gregorian calendar, neither the astrological calendar. Okay, we are following the Atlantean calendar. What is this? Remember, the Gregorian calendar has 30, 31, 28 days. They change every time. We are not following that. We are not following also the astrological that starts each sign around the 20 of each month. So astrologically, we are not following that neither. We are following the Atlantean calendar that is 12 months of 30 days each, related to with plus 5 days out of time, related to the concepts of the month, which are the zodiac signs, but just the concepts of them, not the astrological. Remember also that we have each month divided in 3 weeks of 10 days each. First week for the mental, second for the emotional, and the third one for the physical. The 10 days are related to the chakras. So each day we go through a chakra, beginning by the crown chakra until the feet, going also through the knees and the ankles. So 9 chakras, 9 days. And the last one, the 10th, is the Taurus that close the entire week. And remember that each day we are talking about a different topic, and these topics are related to the information that I received that day. So I have no idea what I'm going to speak about tomorrow. Remember that we have some information for every day, some mantras, some sounds that we are going to use for each day. But the topic of the day, I have no idea what I'm going to write about and speak about every day. So that's why in the video you don't have the information of what we are going to speak about. For sure, when this path ends, we will add some hashtags or some notes about what are the topics of each day in the videos, but I really don't know. Right now, no idea. Remember that all the information for this path, all the questions that you have about why we are doing this path, what it is about, how can I follow it, everything are all in the blog. So remember, all of it is in the blog, which is 3w.yosoy, which is I am in Spanish, and .red, like the color, but red means network in Spanish. So also remember, this morning we have changed the music in the blog and for the alignments. For the next 30 days, we will have this new song that will help us in the alignment. So thank you, Guille, and all the team that made this song for this month, remember that this music has the goal of activating the spark of our Aries in each one of our chakras. So I hope you enjoy it. Just remember that today we begin the last of the 3 cycles of the path of I Am. So remember that also we are beginning the last cycle of 3. So these 3 are the body, the soul, and the spirit. Body and soul and spirit. Remember that we have the signs in each one of the hours of this clock that we have here. So the first one, the 5th, was Leo, then Virgo, then Libra, then Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. This is the path that we have taken until now. So we have gone through the process of the soul already from the beginning of this path. We went through the process of the spirit from Sagittarius till Pisces. And now we are beginning the path of the body, beginning through Aries, then Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Remember that the reason why we don't end in the spirit, but we end in the body, is because we are connecting. We are trying to connect the soul and the spirit as one to live in the body. We are trying to manifest the heaven on earth. We are not doing this path to rise and ascend as spiritual beings in another dimension. We are doing this in order to live fully as a soul and a spirit here and now in our body. So welcome today to the first day of the 4th month of the body. So we begin the month of Aries. So let's remember the Trinity to which this sign belongs. So this is the Trinity of fire. Remember, so that in this Trinity of the fire, Aries is the spark that ignites the fire, then Leo is the fire itself, and then Sagittarius is the heat and the light that comes from the fire. So now also remember that Aries represents the internal ego, Leo represents the external ego, and Sagittarius represents the expanded ego. So remember that the internal ego is the one that refers to itself, the one that says, I am. Okay? This is me, I am. So that's why the mantra for this month will be, I am. As in every month, we have the I can, I know, I use, and so on. Aries is the one that will represent exactly I am, because it's the one that refers to itself. Leo is the external ego, and that means that it needs from others in order to recognize the position that it has, where it's located. And the expanded ego of Sagittarius means that it doesn't need to refer to itself. It doesn't need others to refer. It just moves around and start to find, to expand and connect with everybody in every moment, every space. It doesn't matter. So I hope we get this. So this is how we can understand where we are located referring to Aries this month. So another interesting thing that is important to know about this is the process that takes this ego from the internal towards the external and then the expanded. This one says, I am in me. This one here says, I am in others. And this one says, I am in everything. So this path has something interesting, which is a spark ignites, the fire sets on, and then the heat and the light expands. So what happens now if we try to do it otherwise, backwards? Like, is it possible to make the heat and the light to come back to the fire and the fire to come back inside the spark? We can only do this through concepts, but we cannot do this physically. So now what this means, that in a reality like ours, in the third dimension, that we are held by the constant of time and space, to do this in a backwards is almost impossible. So now imagine this, like if there is a fire in and people around in a circle, okay? So you are enjoying, like in a camp. So the heat of the fire goes around beyond the people. So for the heat and the light, the freedom is all they know. It's perfect. But to go back into the fire and to be compressed again, being watched by the people in the circle, it's a heaviness, is a pressure for someone that already knew the expansion. Okay, so it's really difficult. The same thing happened for the Leo. Leo is the fire, so for the fire to come back to the spark is oppressing. It's like going back to this tiny spark, and it cannot be seen, it cannot be shiny. It's difficult, impossible. So in this sense, Leo is like a limitations for Sagittarius, and Aries is like a limitation for Leo. So in this sense, we can tell that like a Sagittarius would say, I'm free now. I don't need the ego. And when a Sagittarius mind sees a Leo, it's like, poor thing, he still needs to be contained in the center by others. He doesn't know what it is to be free yet. So the same thing happens for Leo watching Aries. Leo watching Aries is like, Leo says to the Aries, it's like a kid. You never know what is going to happen, because it doesn't matter. They don't follow the rules. They just do whatever they want. They can set the sparks everywhere, and you never know how to control it. So from the point of view of this trinity of the fire, we can kind of understand that someone from Leo transcended Aries and someone from Sagittarius transcended Leo. In this context is how we can understand now the concepts of Aries. So, important thing to know before we start with all this month. I am here speaking about the concept of Aries. I am not explaining the people that were born in Aries. It's nothing related to the personality, it's related to the concepts and attributes of the constellation. Okay? Great. This is an archetype. And with this, I will mention something funny. I'm a Leo. For sure, you know I'm a Leo. So, and I need to be a Leo because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be here speaking with all of you and showing me in this way and being the center of attention. And some people told me, like, you have a lot of ego because you're showing yourself and blah blah. And yes, of course. And I don't have any problem with hiding that because it's my tool. To have the ego of a Leo is the thing that I need in order to do what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I don't have any problem with the ego of Leo. So for me it's okay. So I use the ego of Leo because my ego is external. It shows the external aspect of the Leo. If I don't show myself, so I wouldn't be able to do my job, what I do. So sometimes in our cultures, we think that the ego is like an evil thing that we have to fight against and hide, okay, from the world. And that's the problem of why we don't have a proper ego as a tool, because we need to work with the ego because we have been hiding it. So when you don't have a problem of saying I'm using my ego, so it gets easier to be worked with because you can see it better. So the ego of the Leo is towards the outside. So we are trying always to be seen by the others and to have a reflection on the others, so we can know if we are working properly with the ego or not. So that gives us the idea of controlling the others in with this tool. Like, we are trying to refer ourselves into others. So Aries works the internal ego, and this means that Aries is watching itself. The thing that bothers the Leo people regarding the Aries, and talking about the archetype, the Leo concept, when it sees the Aries, is that the Aries doesn't care about the position of the others. It doesn't care. If Aries is sleepy, it goes to sleep. It doesn't matter anything. There's no responsibility on the outside because it's always looking into the inside by itself. So this is my path. This is what I have to do. I don't care about the rest. So it's kind of like that energy that the Leo people sees, or the Leo concept sees in Aries. So also something that happens is when Leo says, Leo tries to find a very political way to be understood by everyone. So it tries to find consensus in everyone, much more political. And Aries doesn't have that. Aries is like, I don't care, and if I don't like what you said, I will just fight. And that's it. That's why Aries is related to the war, to the conflict, to the soldier that goes on the fight, just not thinking about other things. So something funny that happened is that when I was writing in the post about Aries, when I say I, and I there's a conversation between I and am. So I explains from my point of view, my personality, that, oh, this is like that, or this is how I see the things, and this is my question, blah, blah, blah. So that was my point of view. So I was explaining how I was looking into the areas that was conflicted for me, okay? And then the am explains me, but you have to see the other side, is the beginning, is the spark, is the one that makes the question to create everything that you are, and blah, blah, blah. So it explains me the good parts of Aries so I can understand it. And the funny thing was that in the comments, a lot of people that were Aries were mad at me because you were judging the Aries, and you were you were judging the Aries, and that's your projection of the ego in the Aries, and blah, blah, blah. And they started to fight against my idea of Aries, and the people from Aries were trying to defend the idea of Aries being the best ones, and blah, blah. And suddenly they end up giving me the reason. Because, sorry, I'm laughing from the Leo point of view, but it was so funny because the people started to fight, and that's a reaction of Aries, actually. Instead of reading the other option that I wrote about the important thing of Aries, they just saw the projection of my ego in the Aries. So it was really funny because actually was the goal to see how Aries react no matter what. Like immediately it's fighting against something, so they could position their spot. So thank you. But the thing that we have to understand from Aries is that Aries is the spark, is the main spark that creates the light in the universe. And a spark can ignite, creating light, or can create a fire that burns everything into ashes. So we have to understand Aries as the spot that initiates everything. The one that creates the universe is the divine spark that ignites everything in the universe. That is like the kid that is willing to go and understand all the universe, and tries to understand the creation, to play with the creation. The strength of Aries to initiate things is the one that represents the initiatic paths in order to learn something. So Aries is like this kid trying to find the limits of the universe. So that's why it's the one that questioned, the one that look for the adventure to see the limitations of the world, and is the one that, when it sees a limitation, tries to break it to see if it is really the end or there is something more behind. So it's the will of keep going, and that's why also it comes to break the limits. Is the one that fights, that goes against, and that's the origin of this conflictive image of the Aries. So remember also, when I speak about the attributes of Aries, don't relate when I say Aries, don't relate with your sign, with your sun sign, okay? Because it's not related with when you were born, okay? So the people that has the sun in Aries used to say, but you're saying Aries is like this, fighting and so on, and I'm not like that. I'm in service to others. And remember, it's not like this, because everyone has many signs and many planets and different things. So we don't live according to our sun. We live according to where our planets are. Yes. So, for example, a person that has Aries in the sun, but has Mars in Pisces or Cancer, will be a person with a lot of energy to serve others, to be there to help people, and it's nothing related to the sun sign. Okay, the people that has a different rising sign, usually after 29 years old, you start to live more by the rising sun. So you are not really from your sign anymore. So we have to understand that it's not about when you were born, it's about many other things in the astral chart that you have to know. So remember, I am speaking about the archetype. Remember that when I speak about Aries, as many others signs, I'm speaking about the archetype or the concept. And this means that I'm not speaking about the personality, because the personality is not Aries. The personality of someone is made up with many other signs according to the planets where they are. So the personality is not only one sign, is the combination of all of them. Okay, so that's why I say I'm speaking about the concept or the archetype of Aries. Okay, so don't feel discriminated or criticized. I'm speaking about an archetype. So also we are beginning the mental week of Aries, which means that we are not going to speak about the normal attributes that we usually know from Aries. We are going to talk about the mind concepts of Aries. And this is the questions. The mind week of Aries is related to the question, because the question is the one that initiates everything. And of course that maybe you could say, but the ones that question things all the time is Gemini and Sagittarius. But they are questioning things in order to learn things, in order to know things, to achieve information. Aries is not looking for information. Aries is just questioning things. So Aries is that kid that doesn't care about the answer, but it cares about the question. Is the one that says, why, all the time, until the other one just explodes. So Aries is curious to question just by the idea of questioning, not because it wants to have the knowledge that is behind the question. The energy of Aries is the one that questions things just because it must be questioned, to open doors, to open different options. So it's looking always to make a new question, because the main goal is to open new adventures. So the idea of the questioning from the point of view of Aries is not to have the answer, is not to have the information after. It's just to keep moving, to keep creating things. So when Aries asks something to someone, won't stay for the answer, won't keep reading the entire book. does the question, and when the other one is answering, he left already to make the question to another one. So, and here comes the most important thing to understand. The question is the origin of all things. Because there's no answer without a question. And we need to take a path to discover and create the reality. So the question is the one that pushes to create the path to find the answer and creates a path to find the answer. Inside the question, you can find all the possibilities of the answer. And the question by excellence is what? What? Today I explained that what comes from the Indo-European language quo and is the same origin of Spanish que. This is because quo originates quod, that gives what, and in Latin we have quo, that is the origin of this. Okay. So quo means question, and the meaning of quo is object, is an object. Object is quo refers to the object, and then comes the question. For example, imagine that quo means this. So this how, this when, this who, this what for. So it's a concept that means an object, quo. So quo is an object, is a thing. So when you say quo, what, is like speaking about the concept for every question. So every question that you have is talking about the object that you are trying to picture. So every question is asking about a specific term, topic, and quo is the idea of that. This is the origin of the word question. Question. Okay? So a question means the topic of this object. So today the AM was saying that in order to begin this initiatic path, we have to start questioning what to everything, because what is describing the things of what we are made of. Okay? So today the was saying you have to make the questions of what to every one of your chakras, to go through all of the body and questioning everything to know what is that you are now. What I believe, what am I thinking, what I see, what I hear, what I say, what I shut up, what I feel, what am I, what I create, what I have, what I do, what I know, what I'm looking for. So the task for this week is to take a notebook and write down all these questions. We begin today with the crown chakra. We write down what, and down there we start to question everything. What this, what that, what this, what that, what this, what that. Only the questions with what. And there's no need to answer them. Just question. Just question. Just think about the question, not the answer. So when you write down, remember, there's no need for the answer, only the question. If the answer comes, perfect, but just write the questions, all of them that you just can imagine. Remember, not question beginning by why, what for, when, no. Only the questions that starts with what. What I think, what I believe, what I say, what I do, what I have, all the ones that starts with what. This week, we will question ourselves. So after all the path that we have taken with answers, with ideas, all the things that we have done in this past month, the time has come to make all the questions. All the questions as possible. To begin with this path on the earth. Let's go to the alignment. Don't write down the questions like, what is a star? No. The questions is for Aries. Aries. So it's about yourself. What I have, what I think, what I believe. I. Today, a new vibration. The vibration for today is Ga. La afirmación es yo soy visión universal. The statement for today is I am the universal vision. The code for today is Andromeda. Andromeda system is a group of suns and stars that have as background the galaxy with the same name. The expressed conscience in that space usually embodies the meaning of its name, from the Greek, protector of men. However, it's Aries guardian, protector of the beginning of all things. So it's perfect for today. Remember that for this month, the mantra is I am. Nos sentamos cómodamente, respiramos profundo, nos concentramos en la respiración y cerramos los ojos. Sit comfortable, close your eyes, and concentrate in your breathing. I become aware of the body I find myself in, the room I find myself in, and my own breathing. I visualize a tiny light upon my head. I visualize its color, its brightness. I become aware that this tiny light is the spark of my spirit, the one that originates all my realities. I start to attract it towards me, expanding this spark in my crown. And I make the question, what I believe. I feel this divine spark descending in between my eyes. Y se enciende. And I set intention to ignite it. Breathe. And when it ignites, I make the question, what I think. I take a deep breath and bring this divine spark down to the throat, and I feel it igniting inside of the throat, and I make the question, what I say. Breathe and send the divine spark to the heart. I feel the divine sparks expanding, coming out through my heart. And I make the question, what I feel. I take a deep breath and start to descend this divine spark to my solar plexus. With every breathing, I feel this divine spark starting to expand, shine to every direction. And I make the question, what am I? I expand the spark. Take a deep breath, and I start to descend this divine spark to the sacrum. I start to feel by every breathing how this divine spark expands in thousands of sparks of creation. And I make the question, what I do. I descend this divine spark to my root chakra. I ignite this spark towards every direction. Breathe. Igniting the root chakra. I do the question, what I have. I descend this divine spark to my knees. I take deep breath, igniting the sparks in both knees. And I activate in them the question, what I look for. I take a deep breath and bring this divine spark towards the feet, into my ankles. I become aware of these parts igniting, expanding all over the floor from my ankles. Breathe. And I make the question, what I impulse? And I become aware that each one of these questions, through this divine spark, opens every one of the doors for the spirit to be here and now. I expand all these divine sparks through all the directions from me, activating the spirits of the beginning. Enlightening the light so I can see the universe. I am the vision of the universe. I am the vision of the universe. I am the vision of the universe. I am the question. I am. Take a deep breath. I breathe deep, doing strength, and breathe out, relaxing. Breathe in again with all the tension, and I breathe out, relaxing, releasing the tension. And each one at its own time, come back here and now. Thank you everybody for being here as always, and see you tomorrow at the same time for a new question, for a new beginning. Bye.